Welcome and welcome back. I'm Martin. In today's video we have Symphonic
Destruction!
Yeah! Symphonic Destruction not only surprised me by its quantity and the quality of the sounds, but even the possibility to easily tweak every single sound and to make it tailor-made, your own. And I suggest now we'll just make you listen to some cues that I wrote with Symphonic Destruction, and then we will go into detail about the library and how it works and the various instruments and all that. So everything you heard now was written with Symphonic Destruction apart in 2 cues. I included even Damage 2 from Heavyocity, and in 3 of the cues I included the foundations piano, the free piano library from Heavyocity. If you don't have it yet, there's a video of mine where I present it and you can download it for free from Heavyocity. So let's start with the first cue, which was quite some lush. Soft strings, and I went through 3 different string patches. So if you open up Symphonic Destruction, I will bring here content. Then you see you have 2 folders. One are the designers. There's the Symphonic Destruction Designer, the Braam Designer, and the Loop Designer. Or you do have the Performers. And the Performers, they are divided by traditional, hybrid, damaged soundscapes, traditional pedals, hybrid pedals, damaged pedals, and and that's really cool,
damaged guitars.
And we will have the damaged guitars later on even. The cool thing is this instrument, it's a Perfomer instrument. You do have the key switches, so you have on every instrument 8 instruments that you can mix to your belongings. So you're not bound to traditional. Even in the traditional sustains, you could easily mix in a hybrid staccato or whatever. And what I did here, I just went through various string sounds. And the cool thing is with Symphonic Destruction, in my opinion, it's a best of Heavyocity. You have Novo, you have Forzo, you have Vento. You know, you have all those instruments in a certain way, you know, mixed, blended, made it destructive, and still soft in this one library. So we do have here the ancient strings. Just to give you an example. Then I continue with the lush strings, even they are very nice. You see, there is really so much more content in it than just the booms and the Brahms and the bangs. This is why I love it so much, and this is why it became really my favorite toy. Another traditional sustain in this case is the lyrical strings. And you see there is the micro knob, which are the dynamics. On the instrument in this case, the Perfomer instrument, what you see here is decided by these 6 buttons. So you have the possibility for the envelope, for the EQ, the various bands, the filter, the mixer for the microphones, and then you do have the space, obviously, where you could put on a reverb or a delay. You have even various halls or types of reverb to choose from, and you do have the performance where you can choose between a gate sequencer or a dynamics. Sorry, I have to switch off the gate. You see? In steps, obviously, in rate, everything. Neil, Alejandro, and Luis, they have really good videos on the YouTube channel of Heavyocity. So if you really want to learn how those various effects and pages work, check out their videos. It would be way too long if I would go even into detail how these pages work, especially later on if we go to the designers. And then what I bring in here too is from the traditional sustains, the scanner groups. So you see, you do have here 8 sounds, but you can easily say, okay, here I would like to have, and what are in brackets are the sounds that are already within that instrument. The other ones you can choose from. And let's say I take here the string woods. So maybe that's even, you know, the thing that I really want to do with this video, show you the wonderful, wonderful content that there is. It's really a complete library. You can easily combine this and Damage too, and you won't need many other libraries for a certain type of music, and the certain type is quite vast, as I really would like to show with this one. So we go to the next cue. In the next cue, I used even this, a very soft, a very lush sound, the subdues tremolos combined with the emotive winds. Then we come to the next track where I used the first time even the Foundations piano to have a pedal note. You see here the knob working. So here I just combined the lush strings with the fifth, the lyrical strings with the high notes, and then the emotive winds on top. And you really can create this wonderful, wonderful soundscape. So we come to the next cue, which you see there is already more going on. I do even have the Brahms here, so let's listen quickly to this.
Destruction.
You see, from the soft sound that you had before, this library is always waiting in the shadow, ready to bite. So what did I do here? Nothing too fancy. So there are 3 loops from Damage 2. There's the foundation piano with the wonderful muted raindrops, just doing this. Then I use the lyrical strings again. We had them before. I use the scanner groups, which is this sound. Then I do use, in this case, from the Perfomer, from the damaged sustain. No, it's not the damaged, it's the damaged swells and crescendi. I do have the broken chips. And there is something really cool. Have a look at the interface. There are tempo synced. They're tempo synced, so it's relative to 1 bar, or it's long 1 bar, half a bar, or 2 bars. So you can tempo sync these as well. So you know how much I like it if something is tempo synced, because those are the time savers. And the whole thing starts in this case with another instrument, with the Braam. So we had the performance page where maybe if we just would like to go into, as I said before, you had all these choices where you can choose from, and then within you have all those snapshots and the hybrid pedals. You do have them straight with effects, then another set of straights, then with triplets, and another set with triplets. There are shorts, there are longs, there is really a whole lot of, I can't go through all the sounds. The video would be way too long. I just would like to show my impression of this library. So if we go to the Braam Designer, this is a really cool beast. So you do have, first of all, here the notes. If the Braam should be in F, in A, in D, obviously they're tonal. Then you see I do have the viola keys. These are the designer keys, and then I do have the blue and the orange and it's not really blue, but this one again. And if I press C on the designer key, you see those 3 keys get pressed the same. And what is happening here are these 3 channels. So I have channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, where I can choose from, obviously, what I would like to have within this octave of the subs, of the middles, or of the tails, which I do have here. These are the subs, those are the middles, those are the tails. And then if you say I like this one, I like this one. If I have this sub, then I would like to have this mid. Then you go to the designer, where you easily say on the C, from the mids, we take this one. You see? Now this one gets triggered. So it's really, really easy to build your own Braam, to build your own loop, or your own sound in the designers. And you're not bound, obviously, to the sounds that you find here in the main. You can choose from various snapshots. Even here you do have the envelope, you do have the EQ, you do have the filter, you do have the drive, the gate, the space. And for each channel, this is what I said before, every single thing is so customizable, it's incredible. And if you go to the designer, then yes, you build your designer. You have the master effects, you have the punisher knob, which just makes it louder in a certain way. You have the twist knob where the tone gets slightly bent. And there is the macro sequencer, which you can switch on in the designer. No, sorry, it wasn't in designer, it was here, where you can tell if they are switched on or not. Here in the options, there you see there is the possibility to set the sustain pedal, the velocity, range, the pitch bend rate, and the possibility even to tell, no, sorry, I don't find it, I'm sorry, I don't remember, where you say, okay, this one even is affected by the macro sequencer, and even here you can tell if it starts at the lowest point or at the highest point, if it is affected or not by the macro knob, if the macro knob is automazed or not. So many possibilities, so many possibilities. So in this case, you see the whole thing started with the Braam, the lyrical strings, the scanner groups, the broken chips, and the piano. So okay, and then it ends, really biting in this case with the designer. And here in the designer, you see the knob, how it's working, how they programmed it. Working on the EQ, the filter, the gate, and the space. Okay, that's the source in this case. And then we do have the Perfomer with the damaged guitars. With the key switches. And even there are various sets, straight guitars, triplet guitars, damaged guitars, straight triplet, and with effects. As I said, there is so much content in it, And here in the designer, you do have the same thing. You do have 3 channels, and for each channel you choose the source that there is, and you choose here the options. There it is, sorry, the one I didn't find before. Activate dynamic control. That's it, you hit that button, and then this sound is affected by the macro sequencer. This is the button that I didn't find before. You have the cycle where you can program a pattern, and then you can create up to 8 patterns that go in a row. After the first one comes the second, the third, or after the first, the third, and whatever. It's so tweakable, it's so customizable, it's so...
Know your tools.
I still need to learn it myself with all the possibilities that there are. In the designer, obviously, the volume for each channel, the panning for each channel, the tuning for each channel. Even there you do have the macro sequencer where you can switch on and switch off the various effects, even this one off. And then you control it with the mod wheel or on. And it moves by itself within the range that you define here. It's a beast. It's a beast. It's really a beast. And in the source, then you choose what there is and what range on the keyboard this sound should take. So you can, even for live performing, create your own sounds where you might have a pulsing rhythm only in the lowest 2 octaves, and in the middles you do have some pad, and then maybe some collegno hits on top or whatever. And there you are, the categories: the traditional, the hybrid, the damage, the shorts, the sustains, the swells, and the source. There are hundreds of sounds to choose from for each channel of the 3 channels that you then place on your keyboard. If you go to the next cue, it's again something really soft. With the sounds we had even before, the subdued strams, the emotive winds, the shimmer strings, the broken chips, and then a swell. I mean, the Braam wasn't in tone because I played around on this track. I'm quite sure it must have been a D. Anyhow, here you see again the Perfomer, where you do have even pedals, and in this case I've been choosing hybrid pedals straight. You know, there are really inspiring. Those are the pedals. They are part of the Perfomer instrument that you can see here. You know, the traditionals, the hybrid, the damage, the soundscapes. The soundscapes are tonal and atonal. The traditional pedals, the hybrid pedals, the damaged pedals, and the damaged guitars. So I think you shouldn't have any more wishes. Once you have this library, there is a lot to learn, and there are really many possibilities you can use it for. So there is another one where I used damage too, and this one sounds like this. It's a little heavier, this one. So this one I composed during my last live stream. There are the lush strings, just setting a little bit the mood. There are the airy collegnos. And this one maybe I can... Exactly, I can show you even this, which is really cool. If you go for the shorts, then you do have possibility to set the round robins, how many there are. In this case I set it to 6 round robins. By the way, maybe interesting, I have open 26 instances of Symphonic Destruction. I do have 2 instances of the foundation piano, and I do have 1 instant of Damage 2 open, so it's not really heavy on your system. And yes, 6 round robins, and then you can even say the repeats. In this case I have it to 4, but 5, 8, infinite. You see, there's a lot to play with. The rate, obviously, you know, the accent where the accent might be. Crescendo, decrescendo, or diminishing in this case. The first one, the last one, or on the 4th, or like I had it on the 3rd note. even gives you easily the possibility to have a polyrhythmic thing going on. Maybe one with the accent on the third, the other one the accent on the first or on the fourth, and stuff like this. So I really hope you get the idea what this library is capable of. Then I have from the Perfomer here, what is this? Damaged guitars. Exactly. Where I just went, you can see it in the piano roll, by a key switch from one sound to the other. It's a Perfomer. So easily to make even these things. I do have here from the Designer which is in this case the Loop Designer. Just one loop going on, where I add octaves. I do have here from the Designer another loop combo, just to have this pulsing rhythm going underneath. Then I do have always from the Designer just a pulse going on the whole time. There is from the Designer always this sound which gives it this distorted touch. Yeah, I do have here, always from the Designer, go to the main page, then we see what it is. Steady beatings is this sound called. Then from the Braam Designer, maybe even this is interesting, the whole thing starts in this case with a Braam, you know, the Braam Designer we talked about, but then from the Braam Designer later on, I just used a tail even here to give it this distorted feeling. And then I do have at the very end something that I don't like personally. I mean, it's really cool if you need something quick, and if it's not a commission job. If it's a commission job, I wouldn't use it. Because those sounds, in my opinion, they are one-trick ponies. If I can press that key, everyone who buys this library can press that key. This is a loop where they use, apart from the straight or the triplet loops or pulses, motifs. They have motifs here, and you know, if it's a motif that is pre-composed, then it's recognizable very easily. But the same thing even here. It's not a one-trick pony, because you do have your Designer, and you do have here, you see, the high traditional, no, the high, sorry, high motif. If you don't want a motif, then you just go for the traditional or for the damaged. That's a pulse. This one you can use easily. You see, and you just create. In the mids, we use from the mids damaged maybe. What are they? This one. This one. Why not this one? So on the A, I want this key, you know, I program it here, and that's it. I created the sound, which then obviously I can save as a snapshot under my own name. And I think we are through. I really hope I could show you how many things you can do with Symphonic Destruction. We went through the Performers, showing you some of them, obviously not all of them. We went through the designers, where you do have the Symphonic Destruction Designer, which is mainly to custom tailor-made a sound. You do have the Braam Designer, you know, divided by the three things, the subs, the mids and the tails. And then there is the Loop Designer, where you really can create those loops with the patterns and all this. It's a wonderful library. And then listen to this. I think this is something. There are a few libraries capable. Something like this, you know, really out of the box. I didn't do too much fancy stuff, but then tweak a little bit with the filters, tweak a little bit with the EQ, some effects. It's a beast. It's really a wonderful beast. Yeah, now obviously it ended differently because I played with the Loop Designer and I changed the loop. So now it's completely different, and now I can say it's mine. There is not the motif anymore that was pre-programmed, and that's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like this library as much as I do. If you would like to see another video, then I suggest just watch my video about the Foundations piano, the free piano from Heavyocity. I will enjoy Munich now. Happy Easter to you all. Enjoy your Easter with your family and have a wonderful time. Make good music always. See you in the next video or live stream. Bye bye.